it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I have the new Silver Screen collection from Cirque Colors, as well as their Glazed holiday collection for 2025. I have a total of 16 nail polishes in a whole variety of finishes, colors, all the things. For the Silver Screen collection, we have magnetics and we have reflective glitter. For the Glazed holiday collection, we have jellies aplenty and toppers galore. Both the Glazed holiday collection as well as the Silver Screen collections are available right now on the Cirque Colors website, and neither release is considered limited edition. You can, of course, use my affiliate code Nicole Loves Nails to save 10% off the entire website. All of the products featured in today's video were sent to me by Cirque Colors, and today's video is also sponsored. Thank you so very much to Cirque Colors for sponsoring today's video. I greatly appreciate the support. So as always, in the description box, links where you can pick these polishes up, the brand's website and social media pages, my social media pages, and of course timestamps as well. And as always, I'll save all of my final thoughts and feelings for the end of the video. This is gonna be a big one, so let's just get into the video. First up from the Glazed collection, we have Amber Jelly, which Cirque describes as a deep orange jelly nail polish. Amber Jelly had a fantastic formula. Since this is a true jelly nail polish, even when building this one up in 3 coats, you will still have very obvious visible nail line. I agree with Cirque's color description for this shade. This very much is a deep orange. As the name suggests, this is very much that kind of amber color that like you envision of seeing the mosquito stuck in amber. I absolutely love the depth of color that you get with this polish when built up in 3 coats. I would definitely wear this one on its own. The base for Amber Jelly did not feel overly thick or thin. I did not experience any application issues with it. On the first coat, it did look a little bit uneven, but I found that the unevenness really kind of evened itself out on the second and third coats. If a color like this does not in fact make you feel absolutely ready for fall, I really don't know what will. Amber Jelly will of course remove super duper easily as it is a jelly finish polish. And now we have Charcoal Jelly, which Cirque describes as a light charcoal gray jelly nail polish. On the first coat, Charcoal Jelly is a very sheer wash of color as a jelly is supposed to be. One thing about this one that I was really intrigued by is that this has the look of smoked glass when built up. Charcoal Jelly also had a fantastic formula. On that first coat, it did look a little bit uneven, but I did find it built up perfectly for me. But of course, it is still sheer in 3 coats because it is a jelly nail polish. And again, because this is a jelly nail polish, you can choose to wear this one on its own, layer it over a more opaque polish to give it a different look, or my personal favorite way to do jellies is to layer them with my glitter toppers. If the whole smoked glass thing that I was talking about earlier didn't click in with you, I feel like you can definitely see it when built up in 3 coats. For my natural light shots here, this is the polish built up in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. For all of the jelly polishes in this video, for all of the natural light shots, it's going to be shown in 3 coats by the way. For those of you who are more nail art inclined than I am, I feel like this would be a really cool polish to use for like smoke. You could really build up the intensity of the smoke with this kind of shade. So that is Charcoal Jelly in 3 coats plus glossy top coat, and again, super easy removal. And now we have Fig Jelly, which Cirque describes as an eggplant purple jelly nail polish. Fig Jelly also had a really good formula. I found that I liked application best for this one when I worked in medium to slightly thicker coats. As you just saw on that first coat, I did a really thin layer and I did not like how it applied at all. So when I did my full hand swatches for the shade, I worked in kind of like medium thickness coats and I found it applied a lot better that way. I agree with Cirque's color description for the shade as well as the name of the shade. This is very much the color of like the inside of a fig to me. There's a little bit of warmth in this shade, but it's like a deep purpley reddish kind of tone. I feel like the overall tone of this color is also both very appropriate for both fall as well as the holiday season. So that is Fig Jelly in 3 coats plus glossy top coat, and just like everything else in this release, it's going to be super duper easy to remove. And now we have Forest Jelly, which Cirque describes as a deep blackened green jelly nail polish. Forest Jelly also had a really good formula. I did not find it to be overly thick or thin. On that first coat, a little bit uneven. This is another one of the polishes in this collection that I could really see myself wearing in 3 coats on its own. I absolutely loved how this one looked. I did not want to take it off when I was doing my full hand swatches. Built up in 3 coats, it is an absolute stunner. This is very much a deep foresty green. I think this might be probably the deepest green jelly that Cirque has done in this formulation. or at least it's the deepest green that I have it from Jellies from Cirque. You can see here that the transparency in 3 coats, you still have that really nice kind of squishy factor that the jelly gives you. I will give a stainer warning for this shade. I did not personally experience any staining, but like my gut is telling me that a green this deep is a potential stainer. So as always, make sure to at least double up on your base coat if you are at all concerned about staining. And now we have Rosewood Jelly, which Cirque described as a pink-toned brown nail polish. Rosewood also had a really fantastic formula. While this wasn't my favorite polish from the collection, I would say this was the one that I was most surprised that I did like. And it was a surprise because I don't generally like colors like this, but when I was wearing this one, I was like, wow, I should wear colors like this more often because this is like surprisingly pretty. I agree with Cirque that this is a pink tone brown. I don't know if I want to call it rosy because rose is in the name, but I feel like rose, which is like a little hint of like a brown or like a duskiness would be my color description for this one. I really loved how this one looked built up in 3 coats. It had a little bit more opacity than some of the other polishes in the collection, but not so much opacity that it wasn't, you know, jelly-like. Like you can still very clearly see all of my nail all up in there. And one more time, super easy removal. And the final jelly polish in this release is called Wine Jelly. Cirque is describing this one as a burgundy red jelly nail polish. Wine Jelly also had a fantastic formula, just slightly on the thicker side, but the kind of thickness that kind of really stays where you put it. You don't have too many issues with it running all over the place, unless you flood your cuticles like I just did.
My bad.
A little bit uneven on that first cut, but again, builds up really nicely, and you can play around with this one, building it up, wearing it as a topper, layering it over something else. It's a jelly, you can do whatever you want with it. I don't actually drink wine, but I am fairly confident that this is in fact the color that I see as I'm pouring the red wine into my pasta sauce. As someone who is not in fact the biggest lover of wearing red nail polish, I feel like this is another one that I could really see myself wearing on its own. Wine Jelly is like the quintessential deep red burgundy shade for fall. And for the final time, super easy removal as it is a jelly. For the first of the glitter toppers, we have Azúcar. Cirque describes this one as a micro rainbow color shifting glitter nail polish in a clear base. For my video, I'll be sharing it over La Vie Bohème, which was just re-released in the Crème de la Crème collection, which I just reviewed. There'll be a link for that in the cards. Azúcar is a re-release topper. I believe the first time this one came out was in last year's Jarritos collection. Azúcar had a fantastic formula, a little bit on the thicker side as it is a glitter topper. The glitters in here are iridescent, so what color base you put these over is going to directly impact what colors you see on your nail. Over black and deeper colors, I was seeing green, blue, purple, a little bit of like an orangey gold. I feel like at first glance you might think that this is going to be holographic because you see a whole variety of colors on your nail, but again, it's iridescent, it's not holographic. Because Azúcar is a glitter nail polish, it is going to dry down with texture. For my full hand swatches, I did use one thick layer of top coat to smooth everything out, but I do think that for long-term wear, you're likely going to want at least 2 layers of top coat depending on how thick your top coat is. If you don't want your hands looking like Edward sparkling in the sun,
this is the skin of a killer bell.
I would recommend the soak-off method or a peel-off base coat for removal for this shade. It is going to be very difficult and very messy if you choose to scrub this one off. This next polish is called Starlight, and Cirque described it as a rainbow flash reflective glitter nail polish in a clear base. Starlight is one of the new glitter toppers from Cirque. Starlight had a fantastic formula. Despite this being a reflective glitter nail polish, I did not find that the polish felt overly thick at all. It also didn't have that kind of wet sand style of application that sometimes reflective glitter polishes can have. As someone who is a very big fan of Cirque's Disco Ball, I was very excited to see them do a rainbow reflective glitter nail polish. So you just finished seeing how Starlight looks in my studio lighting, both with flash and without, and here it is in natural lighting over black. The colors that I was seeing reflected the most back at me were a pinkish kind of red, a gold, a green, and blue, as well as silver. It was honestly really hard for my eyes to kind of pinpoint the colors that I was seeing exactly, but those were the colors that I was definitely seeing. This is a very dense reflective glitter topper. It's not so dense that I think this would work well building it up on its own unless you were really going for like a sheer look on the nail, but like the sparkle factor is unreal. Because Starlight is a reflective glitter polish, it is going to dry down very textured and gritty. You're going to want multiple layers of top coat to smooth everything out. And again, do not scrub this polish off. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. If you don't already have a peel-off base coat, Cirque does sell one and I have purchased it in the past and I do recommend it. The next glitter topper that we have is called Clair de Lune. Cirque describes this one as a silver holographic dust nail polish topper with the finest glitter particles. Clair de Lune also had a fantastic formula. I was really surprised at how fine the particle size is on these glitters. The glitter particle size for these are teeny tiny, but they do pack a lot of holographic punch. For the live swatch, I showed Clair de Lune in One Coat Over Tavern on the Teal, which also recently got re-released. And here for my full hand swatches, I'm showing the polish in One Coat Over Cirque's Memento Mori. The fact that this is a in-your-face holographic glitter polish, it makes it an instant win in my mind. But the name of this polish also makes it an instant win for very obvious reasons.
Clair de Lune is great.
Also, I do want to mention Cirque does describe Clair de Lune as having the smallest particle size of their other silver holographic toppers and polishes. I use one thicker layer of glossy top coat to smooth everything out for my full hand swatches. Depending on how thick your glossy top coat is, you might need to go in for 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. Removal is not going to be overly difficult with this shade, but because it's glitter, I still would not recommend scrubbing this one off. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. If you really like Clair de Lune and you really like gold, this polish is probably going to be for you.
Damn, what is that, bro?
This next polish is called Lumière and Cirque describes it as a gold holographic dust nail polish topper made with the finest glitter particles. Lumière had a fantastic formula. The base did not feel really thick or thin, 0 application issues. One thing that I really like about these kind of dust style hollow toppers is that the glitter is both dense but not so large that it's going to obscure your base too much. Like you can very clearly still see what color my base is, but you're also getting an absolute metric ton of holographic glitter. Lumière is a fantastic gold topper. You get both all of the beauty that is gold as well as a ton of holographic sparkle. Similar to the last polish, you're going to want at least 1 layer of top coat to smooth everything out. The particle size for these are really tiny, but because this is a glitter polish we're talking about, it does dry down fairly dull, so you will want top coat to make it nice and shiny. And again, I would not recommend scrubbing this one off. It's going to be very messy and you don't want that for yourself. First up from the Silver Screen collection, we have Camera Ready. Cirque describes this one as a deep blurple nail polish with a cobalt blue magnetic pigment and a sparkling of silver flash reflective glitters. Camera Ready had a good but slightly thicker formula. I did still find that it spread out very evenly and easily and was very opaque, so I wasn't terribly surprised at this having a slightly thicker formula. I will call Camera Ready a 2 to 3 coater depending on your personal preference and application style. I found that when you magnetize this shade, it does shear out a little bit, which is what you're seeing here, the polish in 2 coats. For the reflective glitter for Camera Ready, I did find that I was able to see the reflective glitter a lot better when the polish is magnetized as opposed to unmagnetized. What you're seeing here in natural lighting, my pointer finger and pinky are unmagnetized in 2 coats. My middle nail is in 3 coats with the velvet effect, and my ring finger is in 3 coats with the cat eye effect. Due to the reflective glitter, you do get quite a bit of texture on the nail, so I would recommend about 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. But how many layers of top coat you do will depend heavily on how thick your top coat is. I did not personally experience any staining when I was wearing this polish, but it is super duper saturated, so I would for sure recommend doubling up on base coat if you're at all concerned about staining. And because this is a reflective glitter polish, I would highly recommend the soak off method or a peel off base coat for removal. Do not scrub off reflective glitter. And now we have Curtain Call, which Cirque describes as a ruby red nail polish with a violet purple magnetic pigment and a sprinkling of silver reflective glitter. Curtain Call also had a thicker formula. On the first coat, curtain layer was a little bit uneven, but I still found it built up really nicely. I personally thought this one looked better in 3 coats. I think for those of you with significantly shorter nails than I have, could for sure get away with only 2 coats. But for me personally, I really like the depth of color that I saw in 3 coats. You can see here unmagnetized, that purple magnetic pigment just gives this polish a very deep vampy color. And then once you magnetize it, that ruby red base comes back into play. For the live swatch, the cat eye effect is shown in 2 coats because I had to redo the swatch. But for the full hand swatch, all 4 nails are in 3 coats, and my pointer finger and pinky are once again unmagnetized. My middle nail is with the velvet effect, and my ring finger is with the cat eye effect. Curtain Call really reminds me of a darker, deeper, and a magnetic version of Cirque's Wild Berry West. which I unfortunately do not own, but this does remind me of that polish, just like a darker version of it, as well as being magnetic. I do still feel that you get a stronger reflective glitter sparkle when you magnetize this polish, but I could still see the reflex even in the polish when it was unmagnetized. As is typical for Cirque's magnetics, I found this magnetized super duper easily for me, and the magnetic pigment does have like a pink to purple color shift to it. And as always, do not scrub off reflective glitter. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. And now we have Real Bad Behavior, which Cirque describes as a smoky gray nail polish with an icy pink magnetic pigment and a sprinkling of silver reflective glitter. Real Bad Behavior also had a fantastic formula. Again, the base was slightly on the thicker side, but what I would expect from a magnetic that also has reflective glitter in it. I will still call Real Bad Behavior a 2 to 3 coater, depending probably on your nail length and personal preference more than anything, but I would say on my nail length I got to like 90% opacity unmagnetized, but I did find specifically with the cat eye effect I did get a bit more sheerness on the nail. So like I've been saying this whole video, I do think for the cat eye effect in particular you're going to want to go in for 3 coats. The cat eye effect for the live swatches only in 2 coats because again I re-swatched it, but my full hand swatches here do show the cat eye effect in 3 coats. For this full hand swatch, my pointer finger and pinky are with the cat eye effect, my ring finger is with the velvet effect, and then my middle nail is without magnetization. I do agree with Cirque's color description for this shade. The gray base is on the darker end of a medium gray in my opinion. It's not so dark that it's going to pass as black, but it is definitely on the darker side. Initially, I didn't understand what Cirque meant by calling the magnetic pigment in here an icy pink, but when I had this one on my nails and I was looking at it, I kind of could see what they meant. It has a very frosty kind of look to it. The silver reflective glitter in this polish will of course dry down with some texture, so you're going to be looking at a minimum 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. And once again, do not scrub this polish off. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. This next polish is called Rising Star, and at first glance you're thinking that this is a green polish, and if you thought that, you are wrong. Cirque describes this one as a dusky, deep blue nail polish with a gold magnetic pigment and a sprinkling of silver flash reflective glitter. I swear this polish changed colors like 3 times in the course of me wearing this one. So on the first coat, you can very clearly see that kind of blue base, but I feel like the gold magnetic pigment in here makes the blue base lean just a little bit teal in some lighting. So while Rising Star itself isn't color shifty, on the nail it's going to look a little bit green, a little bit teal, and even a little bit blue. I found unmagnetized it looked more strongly in the green, which is what you're seeing on my pointer and ring finger. My middle nail, once again, is with the velvet effect, and then my ring finger is with the cat eye effect. Formula for Rising Star was, once again, really fantastic. For the live swatch, I did 2 coats. My full hand swatches do show it in 3 coats for the magnetized nails. And again, I do think this one is a 2 to 3 coater, depending on your personal preference. I really loved how this one looked with the reflective glitter. Out of all the polishes in this part of the release, I would say this is probably my favorite one that's both magnetized and unmagnetized, because I feel like unmagnetized, it has this almost not swampy, but the magnetic pigment color looks a little bit swampy green in some lighting. And I also liked how strong the reflective glitter came out, both magnetized and unmagnetized in this one. Once again, highly recommend the soak off method or a peel off base coat for removal, and at least 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. Now we have Starlet, which Cirque describes as a rich aubergine purple nail polish with a red magnetic pigment and a sprinkling of silver flash reflective glitter. Starlet also had a really nice formula. It does start off a little bit sheer on that first coat, but I found it built up really nicely. I found to get the exact same color that I was seeing in the bottle, I preferred how this one looked in 3 coats as opposed to 2. This is a really dark, saturated, deep purple shade, and I really think that it looked best in 3 coats. The third coat also adds quite a bit more opacity than just leaving it in 2. I did find this one magnetized very easily for me. For some reason, in my studio lighting, the red magnetic pigment did not pop very well from the base. I'm still not quite sure why that was, but in natural lighting, you'll see like that was popping out of that purple base color. Because the magnetic pigment in here is red, I found paired with the purple base color, you get this kind of maroony, raisiny color from the magnetization. As someone who's not generally the biggest lover of vampy nail polish, I feel like a polish like this could get me to like vampy nails. So that is Starlet in 3 coats, both magnetized and unmagnetized, plus glossy top coat. Once again, do not scrub off reflective glitter. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat, and double up on base coat if you're particularly concerned about staining. And the final polish before we get into comparisons is Technicolor Dreams. Cirque describes this one as a magenta pink nail polish with a green magnetic pigment and sparkling silver flash reflective glitter. Formula on Technicolor Dreams was also fantastic. Fairly sheer on that first coat. This is one that I would say is very likely going to be a 3-coater on most people. While Cirque does describe this polish as being magenta, I always forget that there's like a fall-ish version of magenta and not like the bright magenta we see in the summer. I feel like this is in that kind of fall winter tone of magenta and not like the bright magenta that you see in the summer, kind of like jewel tone leaning almost. And the massive contrast between that jewel tone base and that strong green magnetic shimmer, it is just so freaking pretty. For the final time, that reflective glitter is just oh so sparkly, but it does dry down fairly textured, so you will want at least 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. That is Technicolor Dreams in 3 coats plus glossy top coat, and again, please do not scrub off this reflective glitter. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. So to compare wine jelly, I pulled out Bitten Jelly, Mexican Cola Jelly, Bon Bon Jelly, and XOXO Jelly. I think the most similar Cirque jelly polish that I have to wine jelly is going to be Bon Bon Jelly. Color-wise, I would say wine jelly is definitely, just as you think it sounds, it's more in the wine family. I feel like it has more of a red tone than Bon Bon Jelly does and quite a bit deeper than Mexican Cola Jelly. So next up for Rosewood Jelly, I pulled out Marsala Jelly, Hearth Jelly, Guayaba Jelly, Pink Lady Jelly, and Peach Jelly. I think I pulled out way too many pinks over here, so I'm just going to take these out since they're not particularly similar. I thought the most similar polish that I had to Rosewood Jelly is going to be Marsala Jelly. I feel like they're very similar in tone, but Marsala Jelly is just a little bit darker, and it has more of kind of like a purpley reddish tone in my opinion. Next up for comparisons, we have Amber Jelly here. So I pulled out Saffron Jelly, Mustard Jelly, Jarritos Jelly, and Sherbet Jelly. I feel like the first 3 shades here are all very fall toned oranges. In my opinion, Amber Jelly is a little bit less opaque than Saffron Jelly is. And in comparison to Mustard Jelly, it's just a little bit warmer. Like it's leaning more towards amber, where Mustard Jelly is very like a mustardy orangey yellow, and Saffron Jelly is a lot more orangey tone. I feel like Amber Jelly is more in the amber family than these other polishes here. And then these two are very much in like the corally family. So next up for comparisons, we have Forest Jelly. I pulled out Kelly Jelly and Toronja Jelly. Cirque has a lot of green jellies, but I found that they were all way too light in comparison to Forest Jelly. The next deepest color that I had in the green jellies was going to be Kelly Jelly, so that's why I pulled this one out, because I don't have any Cirque jellies that are in like the same dark green. All of my other darker, slightly green tone shades are more like Toronja Jelly and like Curacao Jelly, and those are more in the teal emerald family, where Forest Jelly is like a deep forest green. Next up for comparisons, we have Fig Jelly. I do not own a ton of these darker purples from Cirque, so I pulled out Eros Jelly, Royal Jelly, Umber Jelly, which is not in fact purple.
I don't apologize because I never make, mistakes.
And then Ube Jelly. Fig Jelly is significantly darker than the other purple shades that I have from this brand. I initially pulled this one out because I thought it was purple toned, and Umber Jelly is not in fact purple. It is surprisingly difficult trying to make swatch sticks not be crooked on screen. So the final polish that I have is Charcoal Jelly. I pulled out NSFW Jelly, Dove Jelly, and Haze Jelly. So the biggest difference that I'm seeing between Charcoal Jelly and NSFW Jelly is NSFW Jelly is what I think of as like Cirque's true black jelly. It is dark enough to be black without being so dark that you can't see anything through it. And Charcoal Jelly is more of like a smoky gray type of color. The only other gray jellies that I had from Cirque was Dove Jelly. I don't believe Haze Jelly is at all described as being gray. I think this is more of like a dusty purple shade. But this was the only other like gray tone jelly that I have from the brand. So hopefully you're able to see the color difference between like what I think of as Cirque's like true black jelly And then this one that's more like a smoky gray. It's significantly lighter. So next up for comparisons, I have Starlight here. I pulled out my only other reflective glitter toppers that I have from the brand, and that is Tiny Dancer and Disco Ball. I feel like the reflective glitteriness is not showing up super well on camera.
A few moments later.
Okay, sorry, it's blowing out a little bit, but I tried to increase the brightness to see if the colors were showing up different better. Long story short, for Starlight, this is a rainbow reflective glitter topper. Here is a janky view from my phone to better show the color differences of the reflective glitter. Sorry, it's a little shaky. I'm holding my phone because like my camera was not cooperating with me. Next up for comparisons, I'm comparing all of the holographic toppers as well as Azúcar because I didn't own anything from Cirque that I thought would be comparable. So up top here we have Lumière. Underneath of that we have Clair de Lune. Then next up we have Cirque Colors Delirium, and then right here we have Azúcar. Delirium was the only holographic topper that I have from Cirque Colors, so I just wanted to pull this one out. Delirium has holographic flakes, so it is different than these other polishes that have holographic glitters. Also, the particle size on the flakes is also quite a bit larger than the reflective glitter in these two polishes here. Azúcar is iridescent glitter, so it's not going to be holographic, but you are going to get like kind of like a rainbow on your nails. Also, once again, I feel like the differences between these was not showing up well from my actual camera, so here it is on my phone. Hopefully you can see the particle sizes a bit better now. I don't know why this was not working out on my camera. Okay, so bear with me for these magnetic comparisons because this was actually surprisingly difficult. So first up for comparisons, I have Rising Star here. This is a dusky deep blue base with gold magnetic pigment. All of the blue magnetics that I have from Cirque all feature a silver magnetic pigment, so these are not going to be super similar. The closest we're going to get is like similar base colors. So I pulled out Oracle, Daybreak, and Blue Velvet. I would say that Blue Velvet has the most similar base color to Rising Star, but I feel that Rising Star is a bit deeper in tone. The addition of the gold magnetic pigment makes this one appear that it's kind of like almost teal leaning in comparison to Blue Velvet that has a silver magnetic, so it stays kind of like almost an icy blue. So I pulled out both Curtain Call and Technicolor Dreams to compare to just all of my reds and pinks from Cirque. Similar to the last batch of comparisons, the biggest difference between these two shades and my others is all of my other ones have either silver or red magnetic pigment, as well as all the polish in this release having that silver reflective glitter. I think Curtain Call has the most similar base color to Ruby Slipper, but Ruby Slipper has more of a reddish look to the magnetic pigment, and obviously it doesn't have the reflective glitter. I don't feel like any of these magnetics are particularly like that similar to each other, but the colored magnetic between the new shades as well as the reflective glitter is what I would say would be the biggest difference between these and the old shades. For Real Bad Behavior, I pulled out Cirque's Wishful Thinking. These are not similar at all. I don't know why I pulled them out. They're not. Wishful Thinking is significantly darker, and again also has the reflective glitter, and the magnetic pigment is also two very different colors. So last up for the purple shades, we have Starlet and Camera Ready. Once again, the colors on these are not super similar. I didn't have anything in the Cirque catalog that I thought would be similar to these. I pulled out Clairvoyant for whatever reason. Alrighty, so final thoughts. I'm going to break this up by collection just to make this a bit easier for both me as well as for you. So first up for the Silver Screen collection. I freaking loved this release. I am a major sucker when it comes to reflective glitter, and I feel like the addition of the reflective glitter to these polishes was like chef's kiss perfect. Y'all know how much I really love contrasting shimmers, and I really liked how the magnetic pigment colors really jumped out of the bases for these polishes. I feel like this color story very much kind of straddles the fall as well as winter. As far as seasonality, I feel like this collection kind of straddles both the fall and winter, but I also feel like these colors also can be worn any time of year, honestly. I am very much still undecided on which polish is gonna be my favorite from this release because like I freaking love this release. But if I had to choose, Technicolor Dreams, Rising Star, and Real Bad Behavior are gonna be my top picks from this release. And that's just based off my own color preferences in case you didn't know that already. For the Glazed Holiday Collection, I absolutely love the color story of these jelly polishes. I feel like one thing that I keep finding as Cirque releases more and more of these jelly shades, because there's been so many, I'm always genuinely surprised that there are any colors really left because Cirque has like a massive jelly catalog. But every time I whip out these for comparisons, I'm like, oh wow, they're not that similar after all. And like, I really love that. I feel like the color story of this release very much fits into this kind of fall holiday season that Cirque was going for with this release. When I was swatching Amber Jelly in particular, I was so in love with that one that I wish that I had swatched it last because I wanted to keep wearing it on my nails. So I will give that one as like my honorable mention for the jelly shades because like I really enjoyed that color quite a bit. You all know where my nail polish preferences lay, so I feel like I don't need to tell y'all that these toppers were like the chef's kiss for me personally. My first purchases that I ever bought from Cirque was largely mostly toppers, and so Cirque toppers hold kind of a special place in my heart, and I really loved these toppers. So for my personal top pick, I think I'm gonna go with Lumière. If you've been watching my favorite polish series, you would know full well that there's something about gold holographic glitter that does, like, it short circuits my brain.
I love gold!
But I love gold holographic more. I really like that polish a lot. Starlight was another top pick from this release for me. I really enjoy reflective glitter polishes. It was a rainbow of reflective glitter. Like, are you really surprised that I am picking, that me, the gal who's constantly doing rainbow everything, would pick the rainbow reflective glitter topper? I mean, I feel like that was a no-duh. Like, you knew I was gonna pick that one. As far as pricing and sale information goes, both the Silver Screen and the Holiday Glaze collection are available right now on the Cirque Colors website. For each bottle of the Silver Screen collection, that's going to be priced at $16.50. There is a bundle listing available for that collection if you want to get all 6 shades with a 10% discount. For the Glazed Holiday Collection, Cirque's jelly polishes are priced at $12.50. For the topper shades, Cirque's topper shades are priced between $12.50 and $16.50, just depending on the finish. And don't forget, you can use my affiliate code Nicole Loves Nails to save 10% off the entire website. That discount does go for individual shades. Any of the bundle sets that are already discounted, my code won't work for because it's the same discount. I would love to know what everyone thought of these releases. Are you planning on picking any up? Have you already picked any up? Y'all know the drill. Let me know all your thoughts and feelings because I am nosy. Before we end today's video, I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Shenanigans, Story Fans, your names of course all on the screen right now. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there is a link for that in the description box, but you can click join next to the subscribe button. But as always, my channel membership is completely optional. Just, you know, like the video, comment on the video, share the video, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet already. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you again to Cirque Colors for sponsoring today's video. Hope you guys have a nice weekend. Bye!